Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. All right, welcome back again to second episode of Migration Plan to UK as a nurse, as a healthcare assistant, or as a adaptive staff. Okay, in last week you did a video on using a trusted recruitment agency to move to UK, and some of you have already applied for different positions. So recently I got a message from few of you who said they've already received interview invite from career recruitment agency. I'm so glad to hear that, and I can say only congratulations. I wish everything will end very well. All right, good luck. So today I've made a very precise video to demonstrate to you, a few questions you might anticipate as you wait for your interview date. All my aim is to make sure that you come out successful and to boost your chances of being selected. Okay, you won't expect the same question on your day of interview. This is just to guide you. Okay. All right, then at the end of this video I will list down few relevant training I deem necessary you should have as a healthcare assistant on the possible or website where you can get them free. So let's dive right in. Let's not waste our time. So what am I trying to say in essence? As a healthcare assistant, whether you're coming to work in domiciliary home means taking care of people in their home. Whether you're coming to work in dementia home means where people that has dementia live. Whether you're coming to work in nursing home, where people that have some impairment or nursing problem that they cannot be at home, people that cannot take care of themselves at home, okay, stays. Or we are coming to work in care homes or even in the hospital. Basically, your job as a healthcare assistant just remains the same. Descriptively, your job means to assist the residents with the activities of daily living, which include nutrition, include ambulation or mobility, or include incontinent care, include assisting them with their personal hygiene. All right, so I'll just list down a few questions that you might expect. It's not gonna be the same, all right, but it's gonna be a similar, just to give you a clue, an insight or a little approach on how to answer them in your own words. Okay, so you might, in your interview date, your interviewer might ask you to tell me about yourself. So in that case, my own number one tip to you is to do what? To try to express yourself very well. Try to show some level of confidence. All right. Try to demonstrate that first impression. Right. Using good manners and also being able to sell yourself with just a few keywords and phrases. There are few keywords and phrases that are looking out for. Okay, then in that case you will tell them the relevant skills and qualities and experience that you have related to health. I know most of you might not have worked in hospital, but my idea is all of us have what grandmas and grandpas. Some of them are late, some are still alive. You can tell them that no, you are naturally a caring person, that you develop that caring, or you realize that you're a caring person when you lived with your your grandma or your grandpa, when you took care of your grandma before she died. Then you were helping her to take her showers, to cook for her, to take her medication. You're helping her to reminding her to take her medication. You also reminded her to attend her medical appointments. Okay, they will know that you've already taken care of someone. Okay, you are naturally a caring person, but you develop that passion or ability to care for others when you lived with your grandma or your grandpa before she passed away, or if she's still alive, depending on the case. So then you realize that you can be able to care for other people and you develop that passion. They just want to know if you have the passion, the zeal, the desire to care for people. All right, don't just talk about your profession as an accountant or as a banker. Talk about any experience or qualities you have related to this caring work. Or if you've done some voluntary work in the hospital, you can talk about that. If you are working in the hospital already as a healthcare assistant, you can talk about that. All right, that gives you sort of joy, joy. Helping people give you satisfaction. You feel fulfilled. All right. So, and you also tell them that you are safety focused and also a standard driven person who drive a lot of joy from his or her own work. That will show them that you are committed, you are really hardworking, you are you are reliable. Okay, that is my tip. Then number two, they might ask you what attracted you to healthcare profession. Yeah, what attracted you to healthcare profession? In that case, you tell them that you have that passion to take care of people, and you've been looking for a way to impact on the life of people, to have a positive impact on the life of people, and you think that this is a very good opportunity for you to do that because caring for people, helping people to do things they cannot do for themselves, give you satisfaction, give you joy. You have a lot of fulfillment doing that. And healthcare profession is sort of challenging. You are not expected to see the same thing every day. You got a lot of challenges, which is really enjoyable. You said that working with your other health team as well, like doctors, nurses, people that have like-minded, give you that sense of fulfillment and will help you to develop some, you know, good healthy relationship, all right, or rapport. So this is my approach to this one. Why do you want to be? Why what attracted you to healthcare profession? They may also ask you what are the qualities or skills a good healthcare assistant should have. What are the qualities you should have? So you should be observant in this question because they want to know if you have the basic qualities or skills or experiences that will match or that will be compatible with caring for a resident or a patient. So you should always tell them in your answer that a good a good carer or a good healthcare assistant should be what empathetic. You should be hardworking, should be understanding, should have a good communication skill, should be able to communicate to residents, should be able to respect their dignity, you should be able to respect, have the have respect the concept of confidentiality, have to take consent from residents at all time, have to involve them, you have to involve them in everything you do. And they want to have that skill. Then you also tell them that you are calm under pressure and you are trusted, you are diligent, you are hardworking, all right, and you are a good team player. You work as a team, you're a good team player, you work with other team members to achieve an organizational goal. You also tell them that you are a good carer or a good healthcare assistant. You'll be able to adhere to the principles or values of the healthcare setting. All right. So these are the things that are looking for if they ask you this type of question. So remember to answer them and remember to emphasize on being, safety focused. Okay. So then they may give you a scenario question whereby a patient is, challenging, a patient is upset, or a patient is confused. In that case, communication is number one. Being able to communicate to patient to elicit the reason why the patient is aggressive or the patient is what? Challenging. Then the approach matters. Being able to approach the patient, okay, in a good way. Ask the patient, how can I help you? Then if those approaches, the reassurance, conversation, your communication skill, if all of them don't work, you have to approach the nurse. Tell the nurse because the nurse might know more about the patient medical condition more than you. She'll be able to guide you on what to do. All right, she'll be able to escalate it as required. Okay, So they might even ask you, the patient, give you under a scenario where a patient is shouting that she wants to come out of bed, patient that is in bed. We have what we call mobility care plan. So in that case, you will tell the examiner that I know that there are care plans for patient which states how the patient should be taken care of. And then I need to check the mobility care plan for the patient to know the means of transfer, the means of moving him or her out of the bed, whether he uses Zimmer frame, whether he uses hoist, whether he uses standing aid. You have to confirm all this before you help the patient out of bed. All right, so this is a very good answer. Remember, you don't need to touch the patient, you have to check care plan or confirm with the nurse. Then the next scenario question they may ask you that the patient is asking you to give me food on your first visit to the care home. What will you do? You don't need to give the patient food or drink. You need to also check the nutrition care plan because some of these patients are in a different level of food texture or consistency. So you need to check if the patient has been seen by salt, if it's in a different fluid or food texture. You need to confirm first before you give to avoid choking. Yes, or you confirm with the nurse as well. So this is very important. Then I may give you another scenario and ask you that, a patient relative saw you outside and asked you for information about a patient. Don't say anything. You tell them, please, can I take you to the nurse that will give you the appropriate answer? Okay, that will show that you have the concept of confidentiality. You understand very well, you don't display patient information anyhow. All right. Then they might even ask you, give you another scenario where a patient was found on the floor. Maybe you are passing along the corridor and saw a patient on the floor. What will you do? You call for help, activate emergency bell, and other carers and nurses will come. You don't need to touch the patient at all. Don't touch the patient at all. All right, these are just a few questions. They may even ask you about, personal hygiene, or they call it infection control. Do you know anything about infection control? Because infection control is a way of preventing cross-infection in the hospital, or what we call nosocomial infection, or what we call, cross-infection from patient to patient or from staff to the patient, where you have to wear your PPE, which is personal protective equipment, including your gloves, including your mask, protect cross-infection from you to the patient or from patient to you. Then also, you also remember to talk about hand hygiene, which is very important. I've done hand hygiene, the steps, I've demonstrated them in my food poisoning video. If you can watch that video to the end, you will see the demonstration. Then it's very important. Talk about hand hygiene, then talk about wearing your aprons, then talk about wearing your gloves. It's very, very important. Then they may also ask you about, you know, um, food hygiene, then that's all they can be able to ask you in your interview. Talk about safety, talk about infection control, talk about communication skill, talk about your skills, your experience, and your qualities, being able to sell yourself. That is what they want. Being able to be confident in your answers. Okay, so now I want to talk about some relevant trainings I think you need to do as a healthcare assistant, okay, to boost your CV. Because we know most of us are not healthcare practitioners. Obviously, we need to do some of this training so we can get familiarized with the patient or what our patient needs. We can get the basic information about our patient. Is very essential. And I can tell you, most of the people that are being selected now, I think most of them have done this training. So doing this training puts you at high advantage or ahead of others. So it's very, very essential. We have a couple of training out there, but there are basic ones that are necessary as far as I'm concerned. So listen now, I will tell you those training and why you need to do them and the website where you can get them with certificate for free at your self-paced time, at your own time. Okay. So one of the training you need to do as a healthcare assistant to know your patient very well is what? Manual handling training. Why is this training necessary? It's necessary because as a healthcare assistant, your job also involves moving a patient from one place to the other, right? Using a wheelchair, using a standing aid, using a Zimmer frame, using a Lolato walker. There are a lot of equipment, especially in this UK. We've got some sophisticated equipment, using a hoist, using a standing aid. So you need to have this training. They are being done online. You can get them online, okay, and most of them are free, very free. All right. Then the second training you need to do as a healthcare assistant is what? Infection control training. Infection control is very, very important because we know infection control is very important. It involves wearing your PPE, wearing your aprons, wearing your gloves, wearing your, changing them very well, hand washing. We have the 6 steps of hand washing, which you need to learn. Is in my video on food poisoning. So then this will prevent infection from patient to patient, or from nurse to the patient, or from nurse to the from the patient to the nurse. So you have to learn the concept of infection control. It's very important. The other important training, number 3 training you need to know, is safeguarding of the vulnerable adult and children, because we are taking care of people that most of them doesn't have capacity to make decisions. So we are their advocates. You safeguard them from harms, you safeguard them from abuses, different types of abuse. So you have to know that, you have to do that training about that, to have the general knowledge about safeguarding. Okay. Then another important training is fire safety training. It's very, very, very important because here we have oxygen in the homes, we have oxygen in the home, we have some inflammable, liquids, some cleaning objects that are so inflammable that they can ignite fire so easily. So you have to do this fire safety training to know what to do in event of fire outbreak, to know the next step to take. Okay. Then the other important training you need to do as a healthcare assistant is incontinent training. Incontinent training stretch catheter care. Incontinent training because most of our residents here or patients here are incontinent of feces and urine. So you need to do training on how to take care of their incontinent pads, or how to take care of their elimination needs. All right, it's very, very important. Then another training that I deem necessary you need to have as a healthcare assistant to boost up your CV is what? Information governance. Here we don't spread news like that. We don't talk about resident or patient anywhere. In the bus, we don't talk about them. Even in the care home, we don't talk about them. In the hospital, we don't talk about them. So you know who, what, where to talk about residents, where and how, to whom to talk about them. So you need to have that basic knowledge about information governance. And there you have to talk about the consent and getting a consent from the patient, and then concept of confidentiality. All of them are there. All right. Then another thing you need to know is food hygiene. Food hygiene. Most of these patients, we are the one feeding them. So we need to know the concept of food hygiene, how to prevent contamination of our food. Okay. So I think another relevant training you need to do is dementia training. Dementia training is very important though, because most of the residents, you might, on the course of your job, you might encounter some patients that have cognitive decline or cognitive problems, or dementia residents. You have to have the basic knowledge of dementia for you to take care of them. It's just the basic truth. Okay, and then you can as well do other advanced training like COVID training. You can do COVID training to know the signs and symptoms of COVID, what the patient will do, will exhibit. You say this is a sign of you know COVID. Okay, these are the basic information I have for you. Then there are few websites I will list down here where you can get this training free of charge, no money, no penny, no payment. and with certificate. I will list down them for you. You have to search for them. When you enter their website, you put healthcare assistant job, healthcare assistant courses, they will all appear. Okay, you now select depending on those ones I called here. If you want to do more, it's up to you. Okay, you select more, it's up to you. So the one of the website you have to get this training free with certificate is Social Care TV. www.socialcaretv www.socialcaretv. Then the second website where you can get this training free is Florence Academy. Florence Academy. www.florenceacademy. You get it free. The third website where you can get these trainings free with certificate is red.co.uk. reed.co.uk courses. You get all this training free. All right. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for your support. Okay. And I wish you all the best in your interviews. All right. Just remain confident, sell yourself, be bold enough, answer, give relevant answers. Okay. I wish you all the best. Good luck. I'll see you next week again. Thank you. Bye. Please try and share, subscribe. Bye.